Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. So this one's kind of on a whim. Uh, Over this past week, it still is the weekend, I guess. Over this past weekend, I was charting the past couple of days for a few hours, and I came across something interesting that May of this year, May 2026, may be a significant turning point or around a significant turning point. So I'm just going to jump right into it and show you why I think so. All right. I'm going to start here. So, going to the Foundation Study of Cycles app, um, we'll start with Bitcoin. All right. Let this load. Why is it taking so long? Okay, here we go. All right. So here we have BTC, and just real basic. It's I got two cycles composited, a 277 and an 85 day. All right. It is showing downside into around the end of February, right? Around February 22nd, 20th, right? End of Feb. And if a trough does form here for BTC, it could rise into May before there's a little, maybe a slowdown here where the cycles do go sideways a bit. There's something in June too, but just May. Take it for May. Um, the 85 day goes into April, but the composited is around May, right? April, May. All right, so there's one. And also, I do think that this month of February, there is going to be massive opportunity to look for swing longs in crypto, possibly also in stocks as well. I want to bias that February could be uh, bearish, uh, a little correction or something for the equities. Bitcoin, yeah, I think it's a bear market, but February can bring opportunity to look for swing longs. All right, so I'll go into that too. But here we go, April, May. There's something lining up there. So there's number one. We're gonna look at Dogecoin. I know Dogecoin is a meme coin, but hey, it's got a lot of history. It follows the crypto cycles as well. So forget the name, forget the fundamentals, just look at the data. There's a trough around February 9th on here, which is really interesting, by the way. Okay. And then the peaking period is mid-May. All right. So there's number two. All right. So we got two things lining up on both sides of February, possibly trying to find a trough. There could also be higher lows or something on certain assets in March, maybe as well. But February, a troughing period perhaps, and a peaking period of May. So we got two points here, right? Um, and just real quick, staying on Doge, really really quick. Um, Going from the October crash of crypto, something I've learned from another like psychoanalyst who does like her cycles. Um, he says like around turning points, you could go a certain amount of days out to try and find a reaction point, right? Or another turning point. So going from the October crash, because that was like a break in structure and everything, right? If you go, it's 40 days, 80 days, and 120 days. So if you go 42 days, you do get a low here on Doge, right? Right here, right? You do get a low right there, and it's a little reaction, goes into a lower high before continuation. If you go 82 days, you get another low, right? December 31st. That went into another lower high, but a better rally than the 40 day. Okay, so the 80-day mark, you could there's a better reaction, right? You can start getting bullish, but maybe be cautious, right? Cautious bull. Um, Now 120 days, or in this case 122, because it's been 42 and then 82. Well, let's let's just say 122, right? Um, Who knows? But 122 days is February 9th. Okay. Um, I have a green zone here on Doge where I know it's a big zone, but it's a zone nonetheless where there could be a low coming in on Dogecoin going off of the cycles I have here, the fractal cycles. Um, that February 2nd through February 20th. Month February, I think is going to bring opportunity, all right, to look for longs. Just we're only February 1st, so not yet. I think there's a little more downside to go, but you know, it's an opportune period, I think. Um, oh no, I accidentally closed out of the cycles app. Let me get back in there. All right. Okay, so that was Doge. Go back here. Um, let's look at oil. So this is crude oil futures. Again, there's a peak in May, possibly May 22nd here, right? And if we go in a bit here, February could be a bit volatile, but there's a long bias into May. So for me personally, for trading crude oil, I'm looking for longs. I'm looking. I have a long bias instead of a short bias. All right, I have a long bias. Nonetheless, February an opportune period, and take it into May perhaps. There's a third data point there. All right, go down the list. I have ES. This is my shorter chart. It's just a 58-day cycle. Around mid-February, there could be a trough, and then April. It's my other ES chart that's more important. Here we go. Yeah, yeah. February could bring a little downside possibly for S&P 500, right? And maybe March or sometime this month could bring in a low, but nonetheless, it rises as well into May. So there's a fourth point. I'm just going quick here. Going to copper now. Uh, Again, a peak possibly, or another 100%, but there's a lot of stuff lining up with May of 2026. The good old saying, "Sell in May, go away," could be true this year. Um, so yeah, the copper, there's possibly a trough end of February or early March. It could be a higher low. If we go to like a seasonal 30-year thing of copper here, there February could do well. If you look, you have a long bias, look for longs. Um, Early mid February could maybe bring it a low, but all right, that's copper. That's what the fifth point. Natural gas goes into March. It's a little off there. Um, yeah, I'm also bullish on natural gas. Again, energy is going to do. I think energy is going to do very well this year. A Netflix. I really like Netflix right now. Sentiment's really bad on it. I like that. There's a 307-day cycle, sorry, that's trying to trough here potentially early February. It could go into the summer. Um, that's a little off topic, but I really like Netflix. I'm going to get on the chart too because I also have stuff that lines up with May. Again, early February, I all on my own chart on the cycle fractals, there is a low point potentially here between February 3rd and February 5th. It also lines up with um, the cycle analyzer. And these cycles point up or have a long bias into April through May. Okay. So really, really interesting. So like, what is it? The sixth point or seventh point here? Um, yeah. Really interesting. Uh, there's Netflix, Chevron. Big energy player, right? Why does this not save? All right, let me do this really quick. Just back. I don't know why this doesn't save. Really odd. but I composited these three cycles here, right? Um, this goes back all the way to '03, and I'm going to start with the left side here. So on the cycle, the middle cycle, which is the highest one, if we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, that was the, right around the actual peak before a bigger drop off consolidation, right? So the fourth peak, right? Go to the second one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, four again. 1, 2, 3. So three. All right, so 3, 4. All right, where are we at now on Chevron on this composited cycle? 1, 2. We're going into 3, which lines up with May 2026. This is the end of May 22nd. Um, so yeah, another point with May of 26. Um, really interesting. So, and by the way, this Chevron cycle looks really, really good. Uh, I really like energy. Um, yeah, I think that just real quick wanted to fly through that, and um, yeah, I think I don't pay attention too much to news. I'm not I don't really care for news. Uh, I just think it's all noise. I just look mainly at the charts, the data. That's all. There's that good saying, "Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news." But I believe I was telling my friend uh, about an hour and a half ago. I was showing him all this, and he brought up that Powell leaves his job, whatever. The new Fed guy comes in May of 26, and that's really interesting because, huh, if there's a little correction or dip here coming in February through March or mid March or something, um, that could be opportunity to long, be contrarian to the bear sentiment, and markets are forward looking. So maybe some narrative comes out, stuff starts to get priced in heading into May, and May could be sell the news event. I don't know. I'm just speculating. It's really interesting. Nonetheless, May 2026 seems to be important, right? So just wanted to put that out there. Um, yeah, and as far as Bitcoin goes, for this month, if this month is going to be red for BTC, if more downside does come, the measured move target of this bear flag that's formed is around 63.7K. So if Bitcoin does come into the 60s, I would not be surprised. And depending on the timing too, it could be a great opportunity. All right. In my opinion, none of this financial advice. I'm just sharing my ideas. Don't listen to a random dude on the internet. Um, so yeah. All right. I think I'm just gonna leave it off at that. I wanted to put this out there. I think it's really interesting. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.